Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video this evening. We have been working on this Bally Circus from 1973, long time ago. We filmed a video of it, of how it was when we got it in. I was able to tinker with it a little bit and actually get the thing working. But I think now we need to work on the playfield a little bit. So, that's what we're going to do in this video. So, I figured I would film how we're starting out, and then you can see the transformation and how we end up. So this is what we're starting with. It's in pretty decent shape. It's got a little wear down at the bottom. We're probably just going to leave. And then up around the pop bumper, especially above the pop bumper, there is some significant wear. So I'll show you that up close. It's about the best place to have wear, though. You can't see it from where you play. So we're going to touch that up with some paint and clear coat it. But we're going to clean everything first. So, in my opinion, things in pretty good shape. There's a little wear here. Paint has thinned up a little bit. And of course there's planking basically all over it where the, this is painted plywood. But all in all, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty respectable. When you got an old game like this, it's going to have a little bit of wear. If you make it look brand new, it doesn't really look period correct, in my opinion. But whenever it's down to the wood, like around that pop bumper up there, that's a bridge too far. So we'll try to fix that. This down here, though, I'm going to leave. We may ink the black back in on those inserts just so it looks a little better. So, that's what we're starting with. I'm going to have Joe take it apart and get it down to where we can clean it and paint on it. And you know what? We'll play you some cool music while we're doing it. folks. We keep a whole box of paint that we mix up, and I use these little Posca paint pens by Uni. They probably make Uniball. I love these things because they're French as opposed to the other thing, you know. And they use Japanese ink or something as opposed to the other place. You know what I'm talking about. So those work great. If you want to get some of these, we've got a link to them on our website. Now the thing is, you can get your own, but see how it's water-based? That's what you want. We're going to clear coat over this, and the clear doesn't always interact with oil-based or, you know, enamel-type paints well. But water-based paints, it does, if you let them dry at least. So we use that. And the red, this was a really close match. Red Alert. This cost us like 69 cents. Very expensive. Of course, I used a lot. I used about, you know, a smidge. Okay, so the red and the black was pretty easy, but the cream is a problem. I've had this problem over and over again, and I'm finally getting it right. If you look at the white, it's all over the place. And it's white, like so this face, that's all white paint. But it's yellowed over the years. So it's kind of like a cream color. It's not a white. And there's all kinds of little illusions going on when you're looking at it. So when you look at the face, for instance, see the gray shadows? So that makes it have like a colder look. So that white looks more white than the white here. Although it's the exact same color. It just looks different because over here, all that's next to it is the yellow and the blue. So it just kind of plays tricks on your eyes. So it looks like there's a whole bunch of different whites whenever you're really paying attention to it. But there's not. It's all the same color. And it's faded over the years. So if you look under where one of the posts were, you can see the white. And so you can see how it's different from here, right? So we're trying to touch up paint like this, not like that. So if you put regular white on there, it just doesn't look right. It's all messed up. So I've been using this buttermilk because it looks like the buttermilk would be pretty close, right? It looks pretty similar. But it never quite looks right. Whenever you put it on, it looks a little bit too brown, you know, which is kind of like a little bit too yellow. We keep having customers coming. Okay, so this one is just a little bit too, it's not quite the same, right? It looks a little bit too orange, or a little too yellow, a little too brown. So I started deciding a while back to try putting a little green in it, just a little bit. And so this is a little off. This is that with just a little bit of green mixed in. You can see that it's more green, right? And that did it. I mean, that's a pretty good match, I think. The only thing that's not great is, it's hard to get the line straight without taping it. But it just takes forever if you tape it. You can tape yours. How about that? You can make up for me not taping mine by taping yours. What do you think, Joe?
Sounds good.
All right. So I think that looks pretty good. I left it over here. I didn't touch that up. I just left a little wear because I'm trying to make it. If you repaint the whole thing and make it look new, it'll all stand out. So I'm trying to make it where you can't tell what parts I painted and what parts I didn't. That's pretty close. I think most people wouldn't even know. All right, so we're going to clear coat it, and then Joe can get back to waxing it. And for the clear coat, we just use Rust-Oleum rattle can satin clear coat. Easy peasy. And we just clear the part that we painted. Alright folks, so cleaned up nice. We touched up our paint. I think it came out pretty good. It's not exact, but it's pretty good. No more damage behind the pop bumper. You can see when the light hits it that whenever you paint it by hand, you can see little brush strokes and stuff. I had somebody ask me on the previous video that we did a touch-up in if I'd ever heard of acrylic extender. And that kind of sounds like water to me. I mean, acrylic paint, you can extend it by putting water in it. You thin it, and it makes it get rid of brush strokes. But if the paint's thinner, it doesn't cover as well either, which means you need to do more coats. So that's the ultimate way to fix that problem. But it takes more time to do that, and then we have to charge the customer more. And most of the customers that we're dealing with, they would rather just have it look presentable like it is now, and don't really care to pay a premium to get it to look the 10% better that it would look if you did it the right way. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But I think it came out pretty good. The playfield, though, was in decent shape, I thought. I think I said that at the beginning. You have your wear here, but it's not dirty looking. It just looks worn. I think it looks nice. I would be proud to have this in my home. So that's really cool. All right, so we still got a bunch of stuff we need to work on. We need to, I think since we're doing the playfield, we might as well fix some light bulbs since we've got the ones on the top of the playfield working. Let's see about the ones under the playfield. Remember, we haven't cleaned most of this stuff yet as far as the mechanisms and the relays and things. We just, in the first video, we were able to get the thing working by tracking down a couple things. So let me pop up the playfield and we'll see what we can do about replacing and testing some of these light bulbs. So the way I do it, just to make it fun, you shouldn't do this. Don't do this, people. This is horrible. Oh, I'm dumb for doing this. Don't do this. But a lot of times you can just push the relay in and it makes lights light up. So that's, it says it's the light right lane relay. And then there's a light left lane relay. And then there's a right lane relay. Let's see what happens when we push that. Nothing. Those must not do lights. So stuff like this special light, you have to hit the special relay to turn that on. But if you mess around, you can get that to happen. Sometimes the bonus lights will come on when you're not in gameplay, but sometimes they won't. Let's see. It just depends on if the game over relay turns off a bunch of the feature lights. So you may have to just replace the bulbs and then start the game and play it a little bit and just see if any of them are acting up. They're blowing me up on the phone. And just see if any of them are acting up. So I'm going to go through, I'm just going to replace all of them, and then I'm going to play a little game and see if we've got any feature light problems. While I'm under here, though, I'm going to turn the game off and go ahead and clean these relays and just kind of clean the switches that are under the playfield just so that down the road he doesn't have any problems with it. But everything is working, or it seemed that way whenever we finished the first video. Here are the schematics, and you can see the game over relay, whenever it pulls in, it opens that switch right there, which means none of these lights farther down this line can turn on. So the bonus unit, all the lights are killed when the game over relay comes on. And the special left and the special right lights are killed. But all the other ones should work even in game over. You can see here whenever we hit that light left lane relay, it should turn on that left light that it was, but it also turns on the left bumper, which we couldn't see because the playfield was up. And then the light right lane lights the advanced bonus right lane, which it was, and then also the right bumper. Then you've got the shoot again lights that are lit by the extra ball relay. The double bonus light on the playfield is lit by the double bonus relay. Any of these, if you just pull them in, will light up that light even in game over. The extra ball targets light relay turns on the extra ball targets. So I think that's about everything that's on the actual playfield. All right, so I swapped all the light bulbs on this particular game, and on several of them actually, on the EMs in particular. There's a board here with a bunch of relays on it that we mentioned a second ago that actually covers up some of the light bulb sockets. So if you're going to change those bulbs, you need to take that board off with these screws on the side. And then you can get to behind it, so I did that and I put it back. I cleaned the switches on the relays with my little file that I use. I cleaned the two switches on the flippers, which are actually in pretty decent shape. I think somebody has not too long ago replaced these coils, because those are, the coil wrappers are new. Those are not original to the machine. So somebody has worked on this thing, which probably explains why once we fixed the few things that were going on with it, that it came back to life. There's also down here in the bottom a fuse holder that's been replaced by somebody. So somebody has worked on this thing at some point. There was a receipt in it where somebody had fixed it up 25 years ago. So I went through it, I cleaned the switches, and replaced all the light bulbs. I haven't turned it back on yet. Everything looks cool. There was a couple of these relays where the switch was just barely touching, so I tweaked it just a little bit. You know, you just want to get it where when the big blade hits the little blade slightly moves. Right. So here is the bonus unit. Ultimately, this is what lights up the lights in the center on the bonus ladder. So this has to be clean. You can see the dirt here, the grease. See how it's tracked around there. So as this pulls in, of course, it moves this around. Eventually you get to its final position. And then for the game to score the bonus, it needs to be able to go the other way. So it's scoring you your 100 points or whatever every time the spider goes backwards, right? Now, when it gets to its home position, it will know that because it opens the switch. Okay, so you need to make sure it's clean. Now, the other switch would be when it goes all the way the other way. That switch closes and turns something or the other one. Let's see what that turns on. So basically when it spins around one way, it opens one of the switches on this particular unit. Now, keep in mind, these are done a bunch of different ways depending on the machine. This is just this 1973 Circus Bally setup. So the few games around this era, maybe the 10 or 15 games before or after this, might have a very similar setup, but they may have changed it at some point. So when it gets back to its home position, the game's trying to reset, or reset the ball if you score it at the end of each ball, however it works. It's trying to reset, and it needs to know when it's reset. So it opens that switch, right? And then when it gets the other way, it closes a switch. See the little post here on the wheel? So one of the posts is opening that switch. If you were to go the other way, like we just did a minute ago, it would close that switch, the other switch. So let's see what that switch actually does. All right, so we're looking on the schematics. This switch here, it says bonus unit 0, and it's shown as open. So whenever the bonus unit gets to 0, that switch opens. Okay. So if you have any bonus score at all, it actually turns on the bonus 0 relay. By connecting power. Power's already connected to that side, and it connects power to that side. Now think how backwards that is. How could you ever even understand that? It sounds like the complete opposite. So if you get down to 0 on the bonus unit, like we've got it right now, and it opens that switch, that's the switch that it opens. So as soon as you score a bonus, it will step up the bonus unit, and as soon as it gets off 0, it's going to close that switch. So that switch is going to turn on the bonus 0 relay, which is only on whenever you're not on 0. Okay, So that relay does a bunch of stuff. One of the things it does is it turns on this switch, bonus 0 relay. So now that switch is on because you're on, let's say you're on 5,000 bonus or 500 bonus, whatever it is, 500 bonus. Maybe it's 50, whatever it is. So you're up at the 5th position. So that switch is on because you're not at 0. That switch, whenever the bonus score pulls in, the bonus score relay pulls in, that's how it allows itself to score, right? It holds itself on that way. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Bonus score relay. Oh yeah, the bonus score relay is probably going to be what counts it down. Okay, so let's say it's the end of the ball, and you've got the bonus unit on position 5, right? The ball lands in the out hole on the out hole switch. Okay, and then as the score motor turns, this switch will open and close. Okay, if you were, let's say you didn't have any, you hadn't scored the bonus, any bonus points at all yet. It hadn't moved up from position 0. That means this bonus 0 relay would not have moved. So it's normally, this is another switch set on the bonus 0 relay. Its normal position is for this switch to be closed. So power would connect through that, through the motor switch, through this part of the bonus 0 relay that's not active. So this is drawn as if you're at 0. So this is its normal position at 0. So the power is connected this way, and it pulls in the out hole relay. The out hole relay is going to eject the ball. Okay, but let's say you're at position 5, like we said. So the ball lands in the out hole. This switch is turning. It's the motor, score motor. This bonus 0 relay would be over here because you're pulled in, because you're not on 0. So power would connect down through here, right? So let's say that you hadn't scored any points, right? So you shot the ball, it went through, it fell all the way down into the out hole. You hadn't scored any points. Oh man, that sucks. They just took your ball from you, right? Nope, they didn't, because of this ball index relay. So the ball index relay, if it hasn't been pulled in, then the power would connect through here to the out hole relay, which would shoot the ball back into the shooter lane, right? So the ball index relay, the way it gets pulled in is if you score 1,000 points, 100 points, or 10 points. In other words, if you score any points, that will pull in the ball index relay, which will then hold itself on until the out hole relay fires. So until the end of the ball, right? So that's just a little thing they have wired in there so that you don't lose your ball. It doesn't count the ball if you didn't even score any points because you're so horrible at the game, right? The ball just goes straight down the middle. You didn't score a darn thing. It will short circuit the out hole relay to kick the ball back out so that it doesn't take away one of the balls. Now, you might wonder, why would they do that if you have a bonus score? I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why they did that. The bonus should have zeroed back at the end of the. Oh, I guess you could advance the bonus somehow without actually scoring any points. So maybe there's a switch that will advance the bonus without scoring you any points. But anyway, that's just how they've got it thing. So let's assume that we're at position 5 on the bonus unit, so that's connected over here. And let's assume that we scored some points, so the ball index relay is pulled in and it's connected over here. So what happens is that comes down, and now we connect power to the bonus score relay. All right. Well, this switch on the bonus score relay is going to close. And as long as the bonus 0 relay hasn't opened up yet, because you're at position 5, as the score motor turns, whenever it connects that switch, bam, 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 it's going to send power down and give you 1,000 points. At the same time, the bonus score relay is going to connect here, because, and as the score motor turns, these two switches will close, and every time they do, it will connect power through here and tell the bonus unit to reset, and it will reset one position, like we were talking about. Now you'll notice that there's also two sets of switches on the scoring part of it. So every time the score motor turns from home position to home position, it's going to fire twice. So it can count down 2 bonus positions from home position to home position. If you understand that, you'll know what I'm talking about. But if you don't, it has to do with the timing and how long it takes for it to reset that. And then another interesting thing is that this is at position 3 that it gives you the points, and then it steps it down at position 5 on the score motor. So it holds you're at position 5. This is getting confusing. The bonus unit is at whatever position it's at, let's say position 5. And then as the score motor turns, when the score motor gets to position 3, that switch closes and it gives you 1,000 points. The score motor keeps turning to position 4. Then the score motor turns to position 5. Whenever it gets to position 5, that's when it connects the switch that steps down the stepper unit, the bonus unit. So it steps it down, and now the bonus unit is at position 4. Right? So then it gets to position 6, I guess that is, on the score motor. We were just at position 5 where it reset, right? It gets to position 6, and the bonus unit is at position 4. So, bam, it gives you another 1,000 points because that switch closes, right? And then it steps forward to position 7 on the score motor, and then when it steps to position 8 on the score motor, it steps the bonus unit down one more. So as the score motor's turning, it goes bing, gives you the points, turns 2 more times, bam, drops down the bonus unit. Score motor keeps turning, bing, gives you 1,000 more points, turns twice more, bam, pushes down the step motor, the bonus stepper. So it's just this rhythm that's going on while it's doing this. It's just brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Now this is a very common one. There's nothing necessarily special about this one other than just the general brilliance of how electromechanical pinball machines work. So once it gets all the way down to 0 on the bonus unit, what's going to happen? Well, like we looked at a minute ago, when it gets to 0, this switch will open. That's that switch we were looking at. And whenever it opens, it turns off the bonus 0 relay. So when the bonus 0 relay turns off, this opens, which means that the bonus score relay is no longer held in, which is what was stepping everything down and all of that and making you score the points. Right? Now at the beginning of the game, whenever it's resetting, here is the reset relay. This controls, basically everything. So it's resetting all the score motor, all the score reels. It's resetting this bonus unit too. So they have put a couple little switches in to make sure that happens at the beginning of a game, because you're not counting down and scoring points at the beginning of the game. So that's just in case the game was turned off halfway in a game and the bonus unit is not at 0. Right? So this reset relay will stay held in. It will hold itself in through this switch after it gets activated until all of this stuff opens up, right? And you can see down here, as the score motor turns, eventually it will get to a point where this opens, and it will no longer be held in unless one of these other power sources is going, and one of them is the bonus 0 relay. So unless that relay gets down to 0, unless that stepper unit gets down to 0 and opens up the bonus 0 relay, it will continuously have power to the reset relay. Okay, so our original question though was, what's the switch at the other end for? So the way you can figure this stuff out sometimes is to look at the light bulbs, because the light bulbs tell the player what's going on. So if you figure out how the light bulb is lighting up, it will tell you how they're pulling it off, right? So here is the bonus unit disc, and you can see they've got this one little segment here, and the only way for this to light up is if the bonus unit gets all the way to position 19, which is a little weird. I thought it was usually 15, but on this one it's 19. So if you think about it, the bonus ladder in the middle of the playfield goes up to 10. So if you light it all the way up to 10 and then you go to position 11, what happens is bulb 10 stays on, and plus bulb 1 lights up. So that's 11. So it can the best it can do is 10 and 9, which is position 19. So that's how Bally was doing it at this point. So if you get all the way up to position 19, that's as high as the bonus unit will go. So let's say you just rocking it, and you get up to position 19. Well, as a special reward for you being so special, the machine lights up the special lights. So there's one on the left and there's one on the right. And depending on where the alternator relay is, if you don't know about it, it's a relay that bounces the rewards basically from the left side to the right side depending on what you hit. So like if you score 10 points usually, the alternator relay will pull in, which would make this normally connected over here instead of over here. And that's what makes the left side light up, or the right side light up, and how it goes back and forth. If you've played these older machines, you've seen it do that. So it lights up one of the special lights, depending on the position of the alternator relay. Okay, and then there is this special adjustment here. What this does is it just, if you can adjust this in the game. Basically, if you plug that in inside the game, it makes the game a little easier. It makes it where it shorts both sides together. So both lanes light up for the special. Okay. So that's what the disc is doing when it gets to position 19. But if you remember correctly, that switch closes too. So these are on the little wipers on the side of the stepper unit, the spider, but that switch closes at position 19. Why is that? So that switch is hidden in the middle of all of this. So let's say you roll out the left lane or the right lane. Now, if the special adjustment is connected, they're both tied together. So if you roll out either one, it would connect power up through here or through here if the alternator relay's on. It shorts them both together. Literally shorts them both together with this short wire here. Right? So, but if not, whichever one's lit, depending on what position the alternator relay's in, you're sending power from here through that switch that you just rolled over. Now remember, you're only going to be on that switch for a second as the ball rolls over it, right? So the power goes through here, goes through this alternator relay or the other side. And then if the bonus unit limit switch is closed, so if it's all the way to the top, baby, position 19, we're at the penthouse, that switch will be closed and the voltage will pass right through it. If the tilt relay has not been hit because you didn't go rubbing when you were racing, so if you haven't knocked the tilt relay off, and if the game is not over, right, voltage will connect through there, through there, through there, through there, bam, over to here, the high score feature adjustment, also used in this instance for the special adjustment. So if you have it plugged into credit, we'll go over that way and it will give you an extra credit. If you have it plugged in here where it says XB, that's extra ball. So you can set up the special to be a free game or a free ball. That's why they call it a special, because they don't want they want that to be able to be adjusted by the operator depending on the location, depending on the age of the machine. They might make it a little easier if it's an older game so you play it more. They might make it the harder setting if it's a brand new game, so it'll earn more money and you won't be hogging it up the whole time while they're trying to make extra dimes and quarters off the players behind you. So that's the deal. So that switch closes at the last position so that it enables you to win a free game. Okay, so I'll see if I can demystify these a little bit. We get all kinds of questions about these things. So this is called a stepper unit because it steps up, steps down. Different steps, right? So I've cleaned off the rivets, shined them up a little bit, and then put some super lube synthetic grease on it, dielectric. All right. So let me show you what happens. So you score a point, or you score a bonus, and it's going to step it up. This is its home position. It's at position 0, right? So it has stepped up to position 1. Now this blade right here is connected to the ground or the neutral of the transformer, right? So you are now connecting the neutral or the It's actually the voltage. You're now connecting the voltage to this wire here, right? Because this is soldered on the back to those rivets there. Okay, so it's the red wire, right? So you are sending voltage to the red wire through the stepper unit. See the little, this here? That's providing the power to it, right? So the red wire is the first bulb here. See it? So that's going to light up your position 1. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that blade is touching the 10th light. But look what's going on over here. There is yet another blade that's at the home position, right? Where the other one started. What? Would you look at that? Now this blade is lighting up the number 1 light. Right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's as high as it can go, position 19. So this blade is lighting up the number 9 light bulb. Right? But when you get to position 19, the number 10 light bulb's lit up. And look, it's no longer on the number 10 light bulb. So how did they do that? Well, they just put a jumper on the back. Kind of hard to see, but basically all of those rivets are all shorted together. So that one is connected to the number 10 light bulb, and that one, 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 all of those are too. They're just all soldered together on the back of the stepper unit. And then over here on this side, this third blade has finally got around and is connected to this red wire. Now why did it do that? That's the one we were just looking at. That's what lights up the special light. So let's see if I'm correct about that. I think it has to go through the alternator relay, so the wire color may not match. Looks like it's red and green. Okay, so the red and green wire now has power to it. Runs up here to the alternator relay, which looks a little toasty. And wouldn't you know it, there it is, a red and green wire. It's the middle one. So if the alternator relay is not on, then that blade is connected to this side, which is a green wire. Okay? Which is a special light. Now if the alternator relay were to pull in, whoop, it would connect to the other side, which is a blue and red wire, which is the other special light. So it all makes perfect sense if you just start getting into it and looking at the schematics and thinking about it. So basically it's just, if this gets around, it connects power through everything to make a light bulb light up. And then whenever the ball actually goes over this switch, if that switch is closed, like it is right now, and if a couple other switches are closed, the one on the tilt relay and the one on the game over relay, bam, you get a free credit. Now the one that shorts the two, remember there was a jumper that shorted the two special lights together? So we've got a blue and red wire and a green wire. This is it. Special adjustment plug. It's either out or in. So there's your blue and red wire connected to the green wire. So if you have that plugged in, you just shorted them together. Now the other two that short together are so that the math works too. So there you go. So now what we need to do is put the playfield down and see if all the lights light up on the bonus unit. Okay, so I laid it back down and I hit start. Now look what happened. It bounced up to 1,000, but look at the back glass. There's no 1,000 score. How did that happen? Well, how did we get a bonus? What in the world? Well, the bonus unit step-up solenoid usually gets stepped up by the bonus advance relay. But there is another provision for it to get stepped up. When the score motor switch here closes, when the out hole relay closes, so i.e. when it kicks it's kicking the ball out, getting ready to kick the ball out, and if the bonus 0 relay is at position 0. So, you know, it counts down to 0 to make everything happens, and then once it's at 0, it shuts this switch so that when the out hole relay fires and this turns, boom, it pops one time to give you one position to start off with. A little charity thing, which makes more sense over here. Remember, we were thinking the bonus 0 relay is going to kick the ball out once it gets to 0. And then we were saying, well, how can you have a bonus but you never scored any points to the point where the ball index relay will kick the ball out because you never scored any points? It's because at the beginning of each ball, it's supposed to give you put you up to the first position on the bonus unit. Now, keep in mind you haven't scored it, right? You didn't score 1,000 points until the end of the ball, but you won't score 1,000 points if this ball index relay hasn't pulled in. So if you didn't score any points, you don't get the bonus, right? Some of you, I'm sure, follow it, but if you don't, just keep watching the videos. You'll catch it. But if let's say you don't score any points, well, you would get the 1,000 points that's on the bonus unit. Except you didn't really do anything, and they're not going to take the ball from you. So they're not going to do that. If they did do that, what would happen is you could just shoot the ball over and over again, and as long as you didn't score any points or hit anything, you could win 1,000 points each time the ball drains. And then it wouldn't take your ball from you. It'd let you shoot again. Right? So they have it set up that even if you are on 1,000, which is where the bonus is now, I mean, you would be over here. Even if you're on 1,000, if you don't score anything, this hasn't came in, it will just shoot the ball right back out. All right, so let's see if it'll step up properly. All right, so we're at 1,000. Now, this says advanced bonus when lit. They're not lit, so it's not going to advance the bonus. Whoa. It's not going to advance the bonus. So how do you get that to advance the bonus? You roll through here. So that says lights left bonus and 1,000 bumper. Now it also says 500, so I didn't score any points. So I don't know if that's correct or if it doesn't do it till the second time or what, but let's find out. How clever. So the first time you roll through it, it lights the left bonus lane and the left pop bumper. The second time you do it, it gives you the 500 points that's written there. Now, how in the world did they make that happen? Well, it must turn on a relay to turn on that light, and on that relay, there must be a switch that closes once it's on that allows the switch to connect to the 500-point relay. Pretty cool. Let's see if the right one works. I don't think we've done these light bulbs yet. Yeah, so see, this light bulb needs a little work. That's why the pop bumpers aren't on them. We have this whole thing where we don't have the right pop bumpers, people. Oh, my Lord. Oh, it's going to be horrible. Some of you are going to hate that part of it. Okay, so they're both lit. We're still at 1,000. So if I roll over these, it says advances bonus when lit. I don't know if it means these stars or this. Oh, that's not a switch, so it must mean the stars. Let's see. There's 2. 3. Now, why would it be kind of shaky like that? Well, it may be the rivet isn't really clean on the unit, or it could just be the light bulb's not in its socket very well. See, if I tap right above it, it's going on and off. So we need to mess with number 3,000. 4,000. See how it came back on? It's probably a dirty rivet because whenever the little thing slid over it, now all of a sudden it wants to light up, right? So the rivet's probably still dirty. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that one leg has gotten all the way to the end of the stepper unit, and this next one's coming on now, and so it's about to jump onto the 1, and this one is going to slide to position 11, which is all the 10 light connected all the way around that stepper unit. 11, 12, so same thing. We've probably got it may be just slightly misadjusted where it's not landing on the middle of the rivet or something like that. 3, 4, 5, 6, and again, this one, same thing. It's sliding over rivets. Well, what if the next rivet it slides to is a little too dirty, or it's not clean enough, or whatever? When it was on the previous rivet, maybe it could light up the light, but now that it's on the next rivet, it's not making good enough contact for the light to come on. 17, 18, 19, and it lit. Our special one lit. This one should have lit too, though, because we've got that jumper in. So, same deal. We've got a light bulb that's acting up. This one, it may actually just be the socket. Let me see. I'll lift it up and we can see if we can wiggle it just a little bit. It does not appear to be the socket. Maybe it's a bad bulb. Stranger things have happened. It's a new bulb, but that doesn't mean it's a good bulb. Or I think it's a new bulb. Maybe I forgot to replace that one. Ah, it looks good, but let's try another one just in case. Just for giggles. Try not to shorten anything out while I'm doing it. And of course it's one of those sockets that's, well, technical issues, folks. All that for a light bulb. Okay, you know what the problem was? The Jones plug, the short, it was real filthy. Wiggled it a little bit, light came on. Okay, so now if you go down this lane, or that lane, you should light up the same player shoots again, which is actually right there. So on an EM pinball machine, unless it's an ADA ball machine, they can't actually give you another ball to play because of the way the ball count unit works and all that. So we're on ball 1. They can't make it where you're on ball 0, right? All they can do is not count it against you when you lose the ball. So the same player shoots again light will come on, right? So if we get this, that should be what happens. Bam! Perfect. All right, so there we go. So we still got to work through a bunch of it. We got to test play it and all that. I'll bet the bonus doesn't count down right because we haven't even... Oh, no, we did. We just rebuilt the bonus unit. I don't know, folks. It might. But we haven't cleaned a lot of switches in the bottom. Let's give it a try. We're at 4,300 points. We should get 19,000 points. So we should be at 23,300 when we're done. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. Well, that was anticlimactic. So, what's going on? What switch would you think that this might be? You just saw me go over the whole schematic, that whole area. So what do you think would be the problem? It could be the out-hole switch. Maybe it doesn't know that the ball has landed on the out-hole switch. Or, remember that make or break switch on the the ball 0, whatever the crap it was, bonus unit 0, whatever. Remember how if it's this way, it'll send power over to the out lane, but if it's this way, it sends power down to the bonus relay or whatever. Nothing happened. It didn't even click. So probably that switch. The power's not getting through it right. But again, like I said, we haven't done any of the switches in the bottom of the game. So let me look at that and see if it looks like it's all screwed up or something. So that second relay from the back there is the bonus 0 relay. It's pulled in. See how it's kind of heated up? It's because it's heated up anytime you've got it's energized anytime you have any kind of bonus on the ladder, which, as we noticed earlier, is the whole time that you're not at position 0, which is the whole time that you're playing the game. So that stays on a lot. And it is pulled in, but I haven't cleaned any of those switches. So it could be that, or it could be the bonus advance relay, and there's a bunch of different things it can be. So that's why you have to go through and clean all the switches, folks. So we've got all the ones cleaned on the bottom of the playfield. We did the playfield in this video, got it nice and clean, put a little paint touch up on you. That's enough for one video, ain't it? Leave your comments down below, let us know what you think. We'll get back into it in 2 days. So we'll see you then. Hey, don't forget to check out my brother Donnie. If you don't know about him, my brother has a channel here on YouTube. Joey and I are brothers as well. We're all brothers, all three of us. Joey and I work on arcade games, pinball machines, jukeboxes, and film these videos for you. My brother Donnie does videos about old buildings, old cars, old trucks, and he owns a farm with cows and goats. You got to check it out, right? So check him out. I'm over there on his channel a lot, and we will see you in 2 days with the rest of this. So that's our first problem. We know that it won't count down the bonus. Y'all think about what it could be, and I'll see you back here in a couple days, and we'll see if we can fix it.